Morning, all of you. So, as we know that we are already discussing the main parts of the blood. So, we have a 4 parts of our blood. If you take what is the first one? Plasma, RBC,
Plasma,
red blood corpuscles,
RBC,
WBC,
that's
white blood corpuscles, and the last one is called as platelets.
platelet.
As we already discussed in last class, what is plasma, what is RBC, what is WBC. So what is plasma? Can anyone? So as we know that plasma is the liquid part or the fluid part of blood, which we used to call as plasma, which is a colorless liquid which consists of what mainly? Mainly it contains water
Water.
with
Water.
many substances dissolved in it. That is what we have studied. And this plasma contains 90% of what?
90% of water.
90% of what it contains?
Water.
Water. So that is it. So and also it contains the other substances like dissolved substances such as proteins, digested food, carbon salt, waste products like carbon dioxide and urea and hormones, etc. So that is all we have. So next, red blood cells. So red blood cells are red in color due to the presence of a red pigment called as what?
Hemoglobin.
Hemoglobin
Hemoglobin.
inside them. Correct or not? Yes or no? So these red blood
Yes, sir.
what is the main purpose? We have 2 functions of red blood cells. What are that? Can anybody say? What are that?
It carries oxygen.
Carries
From
oxygen.
lungs to cells, sir, and
It carries
dioxide from
amount
cells.
of carbon dioxide. But most of the carbon dioxide has been carried by whom? Ra? Most of the carbon dioxide has been carried by maximum. By whom?
Plasma.
Plasma.
Because carbon dioxide is more dissolved in water compared to
Yes.
oxygen. That is what we have discussed. Is it?
Oxygen.
Yes. So now
Yes, sir.
let us comes to the WBC. So as we know that WBC means what? White blood cells, and particularly red blood
White
cells.
blood.
They are shape. What is the shape? Circular in shape.
Circular in shape.
Both the sides, it is like a bifocal length. Understand? Bifocal. Understand? In like this lenses, it will be. That is what you have to remember. Bifocal length, like it looks like a bifocal lens, and it is circular in shape. So these red blood cells, they do not have nuclei. That is the reason their lifespan is very, very less, and they used to live about how many days? It's just
120 days.
120 days, or just we can say that 4 months. So that is
4
the
months.
reason. The only reason for the short life of red blood cells is that they do not have what they do not have
Nuclei.
Nucleus, sir. Nucleus.
So, and let us discuss what is that. For example, if we take for a what is the location where they used to be manufactured, synthesized? They used to be manufactured by, produced by where? In
Bone marrow. Bone marrow.
Bone marrow.
So,
Bone marrow.
about 3 million red blood cells used to die and every day, and 3 times or not 4 times more than that has to be made
More than the number.
every day. So that is why even though you can donate the blood to save the life of a person, then the loss of blood from our body can be made up very, very quickly within a day because of that much fast formation of red blood cells. And as we know, 1 drop of one drop of blood contains around 5 million red blood
5
cells.
million.
That is. So that is all about the RBC. So if it comes to the white blood cells, as we know, the white blood cells, what? The major importance of the white blood cells, what? They are the soldiers of our body. Correct or not? So they will fight infection and protect us from where? From diseases. Correct or not? So they will release some kind of chemicals which we used to known as, what we used to call the chemicals?
Antibodies.
Antibodies.
They used to known as what?
Antibody.
Understand? Immunity. Very good, Kevin. So they are not immunity boosters actually. They are releases the some chemicals called as antibodies, which will fight against whom? Infection.
Infection, sir.
Understand?
Infections.
That is why we can say white blood cells are soldiers of the body because they will fight against a disease causing germs which to called as pathogens and other harmful foreign materials. So if some kind of pathogens or any kind of foreign materials which will damage our body, if they will enter into our body, then these white blood cells will start releasing some chemicals, certain chemicals depend upon the type of pathogen, and they used to fight against them and they will try to kill them. That is one. But these WBC cells, few times they have been attacked by this one. So that is only will causing what? Diseases. Do you understand that? So once these white blood cells are understanding damaged by these foreign materials or disease causing germs called as pathogens, then it will leads to the diseases for us. Will become our immune power will decreases day by day. So it will leads to some kind of severe problem. So on coming to the shape of this WBC, they are spherical in shape, or else we can say irregular in shape. Correct or not? So if it comes to the white blood cells, their count is very, very small compared to the RBC, red blood cells. But as we know that all the white blood cells, they have what? They have nucleus. Correct or not?
Nucleus.
So nucleus, even though the nucleus shape that is different in different types of white blood cells, because white blood cells are not only WBC, understand? So these white blood cells also we have a special type of white blood cells which we used to call as lymphocytes, which will study in the same chapter at the later modules. Do you understand, all of you? So that is why white blood. That is why. So different white blood cells, they have different nucleus. That is what you have to remember. So now, and they are very, very small in number than the red blood cells. So the lifespan of this white blood cells is how much?
13 to 20 days.
20 days. So this is all about the RBC and WBC. So let us come to the next last region of blood, which we used to call as, what is that?
Platelets.
So platelets is the major important one in our blood, which is useful particularly for every human. Platelets. So all of you keep adding platelets. What is the date today? Okay.
22 June 2.
Shall we start? Arun Karthikeyan, Aravind, Anusri, everybody is there. Akil Arfan. Good morning, Akil Arfan. Hey, Dena is not there. Pranav, Arya is also not there. Inform them. Good morning, Jesse. Pranita is not there. Call them fastly. Dena is there. Good. Okay, Dena. So, okay. So let us discuss platelets. So what do you know about these platelets? Can anybody? What do you mean by platelets? Makalu Padmavarshini also. Padmavarshini and Ashika also not there. Can anybody say what do you mean by platelets? Varshini, helping in blood clotting.
Sir, these will control the blood when we.
One more thing I forgot. Regarding RBC. RBC, remember, they are circular in shape, bifocal, biconcave and disc-shaped objects. The disc-shaped, that is the shape of the RBC. Circular objects, looks like a circular, biconcave and disc-shaped. That is what you have to remember. Means like this, concave, and this looks like a disc. That is. So like regarding platelets, yeah. Tell me, what do you mean by platelets? Please tell me. So as we know that, platelets if we take, they are the special cells which is formed in the, again, the position of RBC. Where RBC will from, Ra? Where RBC is synthesized? Where
Bone
RBC
marrow.
is produced?
Bone marrow.
In bone marrow. So it will come to the platelets also. Platelets are the tiny fragments of special cells. Tiny fragments means a small like branches, understanding, of the special cells which is formed in the bone marrow. So that is what we used to call as platelets. So the platelets do not have nuclei like RBC. The platelets is also called as what? They have been synthesized. Where? They have been synthesized in
Bone marrow. Sir.
Do you understand, all of you? Bone marrow. And they also do not have what? Do not have nuclei. Do you understand? All of you? So RBC also do not have nuclei. And this is also do not have nuclei. But what is the location? Both they have been synthesized where? They have been produced what? They have been formed in the bone marrow.
Bone marrow.
That is what you have to remember. Understand? So what is this platelets means? These platelets help in, like what Dina said, they will help in clotting the blood. Means if any kind of cut or wound happen in our skin, if damage, skin has been wound, understanding, cut or wound, some accidents and all, immediately the blood will start coming out from our body. So these platelets, if you are having enough sufficient count of platelets, then our blood will start clotting, means in the sense of turns into solidified, we can say. It will turns into solid, like a stone like blood. It will be immediately become into the solid, so that the inside blood will not coming outside. Means it will control the flow of blood when it is in a cut or any kind of wound. So if platelets is not there, then nobody cannot stop the bleeding. It will be continuously, the blood will be coming out from a body. So particularly you can see some persons like a sugar patients and all, if unfortunately if any kind of wound or something happened, so for them the platelets count, those who are having platelets count is very less. You can see the blood will never control for a very long period of time, because if platelet count is less, so they cannot form the, understanding, they cannot clot the blood. Clotting in the sense of, like they will make it into solid one. That is what we can call it as coagulation. Understanding, what is the word you have to use? Coagulation. C-O-A-G-U. All of you note it down. C-O-A-G-U-L-A-T-I-O-N. Coagulation means in the sense of clotting. Understanding? Clotting blood. That is what you have to remember. So coagulation or stop the blood by make it into solidified is only called as coagulation. All of you understanding, Ra? That is what. So, for example, let us take, when a cut or wound will start bleeding somewhere, suppose if I cut my hand here, unfortunately, so then blood will come out from here. So then platelets, if I have a platelets, enough platelets in our blood, so these platelets help the blood, help clot the blood and make the blood into like a solid one. It is not solid, but it turns into semi-solid, we can say. So due to which, so the further bleeding stops immediately. It won't be come outside. That's all. So all the blood cells are made in this. Understand, everything, whatever it is coming, these platelets will come out, and when it is coming, when the blood is bleeding out from our body, so that immediately they will turn into the solid, so that there is no further flow of the blood from the inside body, inside to outside, so that we people, it will never lose, it will never cause us for more loss of blood. That is what will happen. So this is all about the platelets. Platelets is that's all. That is the only purpose of us, why we are containing platelets in our blood is just it is helping the coagulation of blood or clotting of blood. Both are same. Just when in a cut or any kind of wound. So that is what we have to remember. Now, let us comes to these cells. Understand? So this is all about what is platelets and all. Now, if it comes to here, all these blood cells, if you take RBC, WBC, or platelets, everything, this all the blood cells are made in the bone marrow. Understanding bone marrow from the cells, which we used to call it as stem cells. What we should call, Ra? What we should call? Stem cells.
Stem
Everything, all these blood cells, they are made in the bone marrow. Means from particular cells in the bone marrow. That cells we used to call it as what? Stem cells. So this is all about the platelets. So all of you write it. First one. What is the first point regarding platelets? Where they have been produced? Where they have been made?
In bone marrow, sir.
Bone marrow. Write it. Platelets are the tiny fragments. Platelets are the tiny fragments somebody is messaging. Stem cells. Okay, Kevin. Ma, please call to absenteeism. Ma, what happened this much time? Prasan is also not there. Okay, Prasan maybe some problem. Platelets are the tiny fragments of special cells formed in the bone marrow. All of you noted down. Bone marrow. Is it okay, Ra? So this is also what? Platelets do not have second point. Point wise you have to write in exam. That is better. Platelets do not have
nuclei.
And one more thing also not there. What is that? RBC. So only the nuclei containing cells in the blood is what? What? Who is containing nuclei?
Sir, WBC. WBC.
That is what I am asking. Right. Third point. What is third point? What is the function? What is the function of platelets? They will help in the
Coagulation of blood.
They will help in the platelets help in the coagulation of blood. So what is the meaning of coagulation?
Clotting of.
Understand?
Clotting of blood, sir.
Blood. Means in the sense of it will make it into what? What is the meaning of clotting? Make it into semi-solid. Semi-solid. Solidifies, that's all. Coagulation. That is all. So please all of you note it down. Completed? So clotting, just directly you can remember. So clotting of blood in any cut or wound. So now we are clotting. What is the meaning of clotting, Ra? Semi-solid. All of this semi-solid. So that is what we should call it as. So this is all about platelets. So only 3 points you have to remember it. Now the common point which you have to remember. So the note all of you keep. What is that note, Ra? All the blood cells. All the blood cells are formed in a bone marrow. Where? Bone marrow by a special cells called as what we should call, Ra? Stem cells. Most important. One word, one more question. MCQ, it is very, very important. Stem cells. Do you understand, all of you? Yes or no? Varshini,
Yes, sir.
Tarani, note it down. This is all about the platelets. Now, let us discuss. I will show you the how the platelets are looks like, and how the red blood cells are looks like, and how the WBC and RBC and the platelets, everything is looks like. So now please all of you observe this picture. Now you identify, look at the things which is WBC, which is RBC, and which is platelets. Anybody? Please.
Sir, red color is
Sir, the
RBC.
white color substance is
So you can
WBC.
observe here. All of you observe carefully in this picture. So this disc-like substances which are biconcave lenses and circular in shape. This is what we should call it as what? Like this one is called as?
RBC. RBC.
Understand? Next. This white color one, a spherical shaped or irregular shape. A spherical shape or irregular shape. We used to call it as what?
WBC.
You understand?
WBC.
WBC.
Small substances here you can see, which will looks like a disc. Understand? A small discs, which we used to call it as what?
Platelets.
Do you understand?
Platelets.
Plasma.
That is what. Are
Platelets.
you clear in this picture? Yes or no?
Sir.
Yes. So that is
Sure.
what regarding that is. So now, so the last point is, so the platelets lifespan I forgot. Platelets used to live. The lifespan of platelets is about 3 to 7 days. Note it down. How much, Ra? Is 3
3
to
to 7 days.
7 days. Please note it down. That is very important. Do you understand that? Yes or no?
Yes,
So
sir.
this is all about the blood cells, the types of blood cells which are present in our human body. So now even this coagulation, how it will be happens also I will show you. So suppose you see. So this is what the picture you can observe carefully. In this picture you can see that coagulation of blood is taking place. Have you noticed it? So this is what the coagulation. You can observe in this picture carefully. So when we get a cut anywhere on our body, the blood starts coming outside. So these platelets in this blood, they will produce a mesh of fine threads which trap the red blood cells, forming a clot that blocks the cut and stops the bleeding. So in this picture you can see they are forming a thread-like structure. Have you noticed it? Yes or no? All of you. So our blood contains what is the major cells, Ra? What is the major cells in our blood? RBC only. Correct or not? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you can see here the platelets which present in the blood, they will stop. Understanding? They will start stopping the RBCs, and they will start forming a like jelly-like substance which will just hold all the RBCs together. So that is what we can say. Understanding? Clotting. So in this picture you can see all the red blood cells are trapped in the sense of they are being holded by some mesh kind of substance. This is, have you noticed it? This yellow substance. Do you understand or not? Yes or no? Nobody will say. So that is only it has been it will produce the mesh of like a fine threads they are looking like. Correct or not? Ra? So this all looks like a threads, like a mesh. Understanding? This has been produced by, understanding, thread-like structures has been produced by platelets. So these platelets only will just hold all this kind of RBC so that the blood will become semi-solid. So it has been stopped. That is what we can say coagulation, or we can say what we should call Ra?
Clotting of blood.
So this is all about the types of blood cells. So till here, is there any doubt? Anybody, please ask me. Are you having doubt? Arya,
Sir.
Varshini, Yalni, Dilipan is there? Okay, Dilipan, how are you, Dilipan? Akhil Arfan, no response. So okay. So this is all about it. Now, Arun, shall we move for next one? So now, as we know that we are all studied till now what is plasma, what
Yes,
is
sir.
of plasma, what is RBC, what is the function of RBC, what is WBC, what is its function, what is platelets, what is its function, like this. Now, together if we'll combine this all the four, we used to call it as common name. What is that name, Ra? What is the name of that? Together if we'll combine these four, we used to call it as what? We used to call it as? Worry, nobody can say. What is this? Four together. These four cells together we used to call it as what?
Blood.
Huh? Tell me
Blood, sir.
blood. That is what. So now we are going to study a common together about what is functions of blood. So as we know that this all the things if we'll combine together, one is liquid substance and the remaining three are floating inside in this liquid. That is what we used to call as fluid matrix, or we used to call it as blood. Is it yes or no? All of you, will you accept it or not? So now
Yes, sir.
next concept we are going to discuss functions of blood. Functions of blood. All of you keep reading. Functions of blood. So till now we have studied individually. Now together all these parts called as blood. So what is the functions of blood? Why we are having blood inside our body? What is its importance? That is all we'll study now. Shall we start? All of you keep reading. Functions of blood. Now, one by one, you tell me, please. What is the functions you can say? Suppose they will ask you an exam for 3-mark question. What kind of functions you know regarding blood? You please tell me.
Breakdown of
It
substance.
carries gases from
It will
cells,
carry
from
gas.
lungs to
Very
cells.
good. Is it? That's all. I don't think so.
Sir, and it connects some bones, sir.
So many. One by one, you speak. You see, this
Yeah.
is a communication
Connective
between teachers and the students. It's not like one-way teaching. Just I cannot say everything. You tell me what you have learned. Karthikeyan, Jesse, any one
And
point.
it connects some bones, sir.
Product of
Sir, it connects some bones.
Connective tissue.
it connecting tissue. Oh, it is connecting all the things. Okay, provides O2 to the cell. Very good, Kevin. Kevin is saying it will provide oxygen to the cells. Very good. Like that, tell me like what it is. I can say, for example, let us discuss. All of you, Arvind, Nitinath is there. So let us discuss a common thing. As I can say, blood has three main functions in the human body. The major functions. First one is transport of substances. Correct or not? Transport of substances. What kind of substances? For example, you will take respiratory gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide.
Oxygen and carbon dioxide.
Next one, digested nutrients, digested food or nutrients. Everything who is carrying? Digested food is carrying by whom?
Yes, sir.
Blood.
Same way.
Blood.
Waste products. Waste products who is carrying? Blood only. Like carbon
Blood.
dioxide, urine and all. Who is carrying hormones? Blood only. Who is carrying enzymes and ions which is synthesized in our body? Everything has been carried by what?
Blood.
Everything is carried by
Blood.
blood only. Do you understand? So, from one part of the body to the other,
Another part of the body. Another part.
like transport of substances. This all the substances, everything if you take gases, digested food, and waste products,
Waste
hormones,
material.
everything from one part of the body to other part, everything will come
Other part.
under one thing. That is what we should call it as transport substances.
Blood.
If we take our blood, we have mainly how many functions? Ra? Three main functions in the human body. The first one is transport. What is that? Transport. So
Transport.
of what? Transport of
Respiratory gases.
gases,
Respiratory.
food, digested food. Next one,
Digested
waste
food,
products.
waste
Next one, hormones. Understand?
Hormone.
Etc. Etc. Everything has been carried from one part of the body to another part. Has been done by what? Blood on. So that is why we can say the major, one of the first function or main function of human body is transport of what? Transport of substances. What we should call Ra? Transport of
Transport of substance.
substances. So it may be done by RBC, may be done by plasma, doesn't matter. Together we are talking now. We are not mentioning particular part. So transport of substances is the first one. Like that, what is the second function? Anybody? Second function. The second function is what? Protection against disease. What is that? Protection.
Protection
Is it yes
against
or no?
Against
Done by whom?
disease.
Done
Yes,
by
sir.
WBC. But
WBC.
Yeah.
so protection, it is done by blood only. Protection against diseases. Disease. That is the second point. So, and also you can see, you may see our body temperature has been controlled by whom? Our body temperature. Our body temperature also controlled by whom? Either it is depend upon the atmospheric conditions. Everything has been controlled by our blood only.
Blood.
That is why the third function is regulation of body temperature. All of you should remember. So these are the main functions. Regulation of body temperature. Do you understanding, all of you? So these are the three main functions of blood. So one is transport of substances, protection against disease, and regulation of body temperature. So please all of you note it down. Now let us discuss what is this main functions. These three functions we'll write elaborately, and you can keep heading the important functions of blood in our body. The important functions in our exam also have to write like this only. So please all of you write it. First point. What is the first point? Blood carries oxygen from the lungs to different parts of the body. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Functions. Main functions. So now just we are splitting, that's all. So carries what? First one, carries O2 from lungs to
Lungs to
from lungs to where? Different parts
Tissues,
of the
sir.
body. Lungs,
tissues, sir.
different parts of the body. Note it down. Most important question. So many times we'll ask for 2 more questions, but by the time you can write any 1 or 2 points enough. 2 points is minimum. Next, if it is bringing carbon oxygen, so please highlight these words. Highlight these words like this. In exam also you have to do that. Next, second point. Blood carries carbon dioxide from the body
Carbon
cells to
dioxide.
where? Body cells to the lungs.
Lungs.
Lungs, sir.
Yeah, that is the second one, right? Blood carries CO2. CO2 from where? From body cells to lungs for breathing out. That is the second point. That is all about gases. Now anybody, third point, any guess, any idea? Speak, everybody. Next word. Transportation of substances. Gases over. Next word. Digested food. So digested food, where it will be digested? Complete digestion. Any idea? Anybody? Name. I need name of that.
Sir, small intestine.
What?
Small intestine.
Small intestine. Very good. Really. So small intestine. All of you write that. It carries digested food from small intestine to all the parts of the body. Carries digested food. Digested food from where? Small intestine. That is
Small
what
intestine.
remember, all of you. Small intestine to all the parts of the body. All the parts of the body. That is what the third point. Next, fourth point. So, fourth point, anybody? Wastage, it will be again, okay, leave it. Blood only, it will be kidneys. That is I will say. Right, next one. Suppose if we'll take hormones. Hormones from endocrine glands to different organs of the body. Please write it. Wherever they are needed, different whatever it is, means hormones producing places too, they have been supplied to the, depend upon the needed, which part of the body is needed, when it is needed, depend upon the type of it is need to be carried. That is why, right? It carries hormones from the carries hormones. Here, small intestine, you have to highlight it. Understand? Digestion also. It carries hormones from the endocrine glands. Means hormone synthesized glands. Endocrine glands. Are you noted down? Endocrine glands to where? Glands to different organs of the body. Endocrine glands to different kind of organs of the body. That is what you have to remember. But is it always will happen? No. Where they are needed and when they are needed. That is what? Where they are needed. Where they are needed. It has been synthesized by endocrine glands and it has been carried by blood. This is what? Fourth point. Fifth point. Like just now Kevin is messaging in the chart. He is saying that, sir, the fifth point is unwanted waste to kidney. That is what we have to call it as U. It will start with a name called as U. Anybody, what is that name called as? Waste products. I used to taught you in the case of what is that?
Urea.
Urea, that is right. Blood carries a waste product called urea. Urea from where? From where? Which part? From the biggest part in our stomach. That is called as. It will start with L. You have to remember. Starts with what? L.
Liver.
Liver. That is what? Liver to the kidney. For what is the purpose? For excretion in urine. Excretion in urine. Understanding? Filtration, like a dialysis. That is right. Carries a waste product called urea. Excretion of urine. Very good, Kevin. Excretion, right? Carries a waste product called urea. Urea from where? From liver to kidney. For what is the purpose? To excretion in kidneys, to the kidneys for excretion in urine. Liver, from liver to kidneys for excretion in urine. That is what.